is an emergency. Queen's Quest arrived. Emergency. Queen's Quest arrived. Emergency. Queen's Quest arrived.
Down to the queens.
Hello, ladies, gentlemen, and everybody inside and outside of the gender spectrum, and welcome back to Stardom Quest, the best weekly Stardom podcast anywhere in the world. I am, as always, Alex, and I am joined by Dylan. Hi, Dylan.
Hi, Alex. Hi, guys. How you been? We back at it like crack addicts. Probably shouldn't have said that in the first 20 seconds, but it's what it is. Welcome to Stardom Quest.
Yeah, Stardom Quest brought to you by the 5-Star Podcast Network. The 5-Star Network is home to us, Stardom Quest, home to Dramatic Dream Dragons, which is a Dragon Gate and DDT show, host of Wrestling Summit, which is like a stream involving a bunch of contributors for big events. There's also Watch Tej, which is a TJPW-centric podcast, Puro Gems, which is a look at the independent scene in Japan for both the men and the women. And there's a lot more coming. There's a lot more happening. We have a website too, 5starnetwork.co, where there's some cool articles to go along with the podcasts. There's also a Discord. I don't know where it is. I don't know how to access it. People seem to access it, so figure that out, and you can join the Discord for the 5-Star Network. And that is the plug.
You're an old man. That's crazy. It is not that hard. If you need help, let me know. I can get you in the Discord. Maybe I'll just tweet it out. I don't know. Am I the only person who knows how Discord works? It's crazy.
Well, I mean, I have a general idea, but I don't know like where we've posted the invite link.
I don't know if it's posted anywhere.
Well,
like
people
it's
join,
sent
so I
out.
assume it's somewhere.
Yeah, I have no idea, but
Yeah.
I have it. I'll send it to people. I don't care.
All right.
Yeah, because we talk about plenty of good stuff in that beautiful Discord. Yeah, and then there are plenty of articles. I don't want to say I'm captaining the articles, but I write a lot of articles over there, or I try to, including stuff that fans of Stardom will be interested in. Ooh, not really. It's more of for new people.
Speaking of new people, though, a great way for them to come on board was with the recent events of Sakura Genesis. At Sakura Genesis, Mercedes Mone successfully defended the IWGP Women's Championship against Azumi and Hazuki. The match went, it was about 13 to 15 minutes, wasn't it, at the end?
Yeah, it was 13 minutes.
So I mean, it was what we thought it would be and what I had said it should be from very early on. It was a high-speed three-way. They very much didn't give themselves a chance to stop and breathe. It was very much a spectacle match, which is what I thought it should be, because when you even listen to the reactions, like compare the reactions to this to what Kyrie versus Tam got, where they had a more typical match, and the crowd didn't care aside from like the Violet Screwdriver. Whereas with this three-way match, the crowd was really into it. You know, they were kind of oohing and ahhing at all the cool spots. So I had thought that would be the best way to go to kind of earn new fans, and that seems to have worked to some degree because it was a really well received match.
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of Azumi this week. I've been just like going back and watching her, and this had like signs of it being like Azumi's brainchild all over it, because she like, and this is partially just because Azumi's my favorite wrestler, but she just absolutely like, it was the best of what Azumi does, right? Like I feel like
Hmm.
this is like, it took the great things about Azumi, Hazuki, and Yoniyama. It took the good stuff about Azumi, Natsupoi, Koguma. It took the best things about, Azumi, Hazuki, Konami from years ago. Like it just was like the amalgamation of an Azumi three-way match with the star power of Mercedes, that it was incredible. I thought it was a very, very well done match. I thought it was quite enjoyable. I think the biggest debate has been, was it smart for Mercedes? Because and this is more of like a niche thing, but there have been plenty of people who are like, oh, this kind of made Mercedes look bad, putting her up against two of the fastest wrestlers in the world and making her look slower than them because they are the fastest wrestlers in the world. I personally think that she held her own way better than I personally thought that most people can. So I had no problem with it. I thought it was the smart decision. But yeah, I thought it was a really, really fun match.
Yeah, I mean, it was great. Like, it wasn't the peak of what high speed can be. Like, we've
No.
seen this same match done better. But Mercedes, this was her first attempt at this style. And we've watched a lot of people wrestle their first high speed match during this Azumi reign. Like, we look back, I think back to Rina, somebody
Yeah.
like Momokogo getting her first big match. And even they
They
couldn't
sink or swim.
Yeah, like even they couldn't fully keep up with Azumi. So for Mercedes Money to even look close to the pace that Azumi and Hazuki were working, who are two excellent high speed wrestlers, I think that's a real credit to her. I think the people who are saying it made her look bad, they don't understand the high speed style. They don't understand how difficult it is. Like what Azumi and Hazuki can do is really special, and they're one of the select number of people who can do it at that level. So for Mercedes to even keep up with them also stand out by adding in her own creativity to it is really a big kind of positive for her. And like, this is clearly something that she probably wanted to do to experience that style of wrestling. So I mean, she got to try it out. She got to do it really well. I don't think she's losing sleep at night, and I thought she looked pretty good.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think I've said this a million times, but I talked to Peps about it the other day. That I was like, when when there are two classic matches, that's Azumi, Hazuki, Yoneyama. If you can replace Yoneyama and people don't blink, that's a good sign. Because I mean, those are three of the greatest high speed wrestlers like ever. I mean, like
Hmm.
realistically, especially of the modern era of the high speed championship, they are three of the best. So when you have to fill those shoes and you do it tremendously, I fully, praise and compliment her. I also want to say that I'm very happy because I think this also got Azumi and Hazuki a lot more fans, um, and just a lot more credit and a lot more very, very deserved love. And that's always a good thing because I think those are two of the best wrestlers in the world. And the more people that know that, the better.
I was gonna say Hazuki came away as like the star of the show. She got a lot of focus, and you can see why they added her to the match. They clearly wanted her to get something. Like she got an extended sequence with Mercedes Money. She avoided taking the fall. She was involved in a lot of the better spots of the match. The crowd was chanting for Hazuki. Like
Yeah.
she got a lot out of this match. So fair play to Azumi and Mercedes for taking a back seat and letting Hazuki really get presented that well because she came away looking really good. I thought she, more than anyone, gained a lot out of the match.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. I think that uh, this is something that I noticed during the show, and even after the match with the Mayu segment. I feel like Mercedes, um, she reminds me of me when I was little. And this I'm going to explain this in an anecdote if you couldn't tell. When I was younger, my neighbor, who was a few years older than me, real big guy, right? Uh, he's the one who like brought me into wrestling. He's the one who like told me who Rey Mysterio was. And so we would always play wrestle because we were, like 6 and 8 or whatever. And we would play wrestle. But because he was so much bigger than me, I would just stiff him, right? Like he wouldn't beat me up, but I would try my best to beat the fuck out of him, right? Because that's just how it works. I was smaller than him. I feel like that's how Mercedes is in Japan because she's like, I know these motherfuckers are gonna hurt me, so I'm gonna hurt them first, and I love that. Like I like before Hazuki like punched her in the throat, um, Mercedes was just like teeing off on her, and I was like, oh, she's she's gonna get it back, and then she did, and that was one of the most popular spots of the match. Like I think it got like thousands of likes on Twitter, right? Like the gif of it of Hazuki just punching her in the throat. Um, and I really like that. And same with it looked like she like nearly knocked Mayu out with the slap afterwards. Like
Yeah, she was
she
throwing
was just laying
slaps.
shit in. And it's funny because last night I actually watched a clip of I think Punishment Martinez or whatever his WWE name is. Fucking Priest, Damian Priest. He was talking
Mhm.
about wrestling Sheamus and Drew McIntyre, and he was like, "Well, they're very big, and they hit very hard. So I hit them hard first, and then I walk away." Like that was his, that was how he went through the Royal Rumble. I feel like that's how Mercedes is going about Japan, and I love that. I respect that.
Yeah, I mean, she's up for it. Like, I know she's probably throwing stiff, and if somebody responded in kind, I don't think she'd mind. So, her and Mayu might just like kill each other, which would be great.
Yeah,
But yeah, she's fair play to Mercedes. She was over in Japan before the match, presumably. She like posted the photo at the dojo, presumably going through the spots because they obviously practiced the match. So she put like a lot of work into this match, and I think it came off really well. And I think when it came down to it, you could see her take the back seat for Hazuki, and that's something that um, was never really appreciated about Sasha Banks in WWE. Was she was always very willing to take that back seat when somebody
yeah,
else was gonna get the moment. Like she willingly put over Bianca Belair. She took the back seat for Bailey when she was the one being pushed in the Golden Role Models. She tried to put over Charlotte as best she could when she was tasked with that when they were like making history every 2 weeks or whatever.
yeah.
Um, and I mean we're seeing it in this Japan run where even here she and Azumi gave a lot of the attention to somebody else. And when it comes time for her to lose this belt, she's going to do it with, eagerness. Like she's going to do it as good as she can. So I think that's one of the great things about having Mercedes around.
Yeah, one thing that I noticed because I think yesterday she posted a bunch of pictures with the TGPW girls training, and I realized like for as much as people want to say, "Oh, she doesn't even want to be there. She wants to be in TGPW," whatever. For as much as they say that, I was thinking everybody in Stardom is meant to be her enemy as of right now. So her like visually training with any of them, especially with the people she would probably train with, which is Hazuki and Mayu,
Hmm.
it would look really bad. So for all we know, she trains there fucking every day, and she only posts that she trains at TGPW. Not saying she necessarily does, but I kind of realized that when people were like talking about how she's always training with TGPW, and I was like, well, I mean, you can't really train with the people that you're beating the fuck out of. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, she did a press conference. I feel like that should tell you all you
Yeah,
need to know. They abruptly did a press conference just for Mercedes versus Mayu. She did it. She had a whole new fit for it. She had a promo design for it. She had guitars ready for it. Like, she's putting her effort into this. I think there's a lot of people who have been like caught off guard and said to themselves, "Oh, she's just doing this for the money and she doesn't care." And it's like, well, she does. She very clearly does. Maybe she doesn't
this could
care.
just be. Go on.
Maybe she doesn't care so deeply to wrestle in Stardom specifically, but wrestling in Japan is something she's into, and she's gonna give it her all to Bushiroad or whoever's paying her. Like, she did a lot of great work with Mayu, and that was the first time they've really had her over to sink her teeth into something. She did great, so I think she's
So
really
is
added a
Momokogo.
lot.
Shout out to
Yeah,
Momokogo. She tried her best. That company is so they've got 7 people working there. Like I swear to God, like that is crazy that they had Momokogo translate for him. But Momokogo did a great job doing. She was really instant. Like you saw, remember when Mina tried to translate for Mariah May and it just
mhm.
didn't go well at all. Momokogo was quick with it. Like the Japanese to English was a bit harder, but English to Japanese, it was just like natural. So shout out to Momokogo. But yeah, uh, this might be just her teasing Mercedes, but she posted on Instagram like, "Y'all know any good real estate agents in Tokyo?" And I'm just like, I think this chick wants to stay for a bit. I I don't see her being the surprise at SummerSlam type of thing. Like
Hmm.
obviously I think we've kind of gone past that, but like I feel like a lot of people are still like, how long is she gonna like stay here? I feel like the Tokyo Dome is looking awfully pretty to her. Uh and I
Yeah,
think as much as she can wrestle there and as much as she can get paid, for as long as she can get paid for as many dates, I feel like she'd probably work there as much as she possibly can without conflicting with her other stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know her level of commitment, but I imagine she will at the very least try and get a Wrestle Kingdom match out of it because that's the be all end all. Um, but she did set up the match with Mayu after the three-way there at Sakura Genesis. And the press conference did a lot for the two of them. Like they didn't need a story for that match because it's
No.
it's Mercedes Money versus Mayu Iwatani. Like that is two of the best wrestlers of this generation going head to head. Like you don't need anything else. But they during the press conference really added a whole nother level to it. Um, the press conference wasn't like perfect or anything. I wouldn't go that far, but Mercedes definitely got across this character of I am so vain. I'm obsessed with money. This is my country. This is my belt. Like I'm here to save all of Joshi wrestling and that kind of stuff. And Mayu's just like, I want that belt. I am the icon of Stardom, and I want that belt. That's all you need, right? Like they gave it that added little bit. That's all they need, and I thought that was really great about the press conference.
Oh yeah, totally. I thought the press conference was really fun. It was really interesting. Um, and it felt like there was like this comedic undertone to it. Not even undertone. At one point, she started singing that "Mayu sucks, Mayu sucks, Mayu sucks,
Mhm.
Mayu sucks" on the guitar, an inflatable guitar, mind you. Uh, I thought it was really funny. I thought that like everything kind of hit the way it was supposed to, right? Excuse me. Um, and yeah, I thought it was really Stardom doesn't go out of their way to cater to English fans like ever. So this was like an interesting one because like they kind of had to because it's Mercedes.
Yeah.
So it was kind of interesting to see how they kind of go about that. Uh, and yeah, I mean it's probably a top three North American women's wrestler of all time versus a top three Japanese women's wrestler of all time, arguably. Like that's a crazy match on its own. There's no need to say anything more than that. But I'm really excited for it. I think it's going to be a really great match. Also, one more note. Obviously, this is a Star podcast, and we'll keep it to that. But Sakura Genesis, phenomenal show. Way better than like any New Japan show in the past like 4 years, if I'm being honest, 3 years. Like since COVID, that was probably the best New Japan show, top to bottom. Period. So I definitely recommend checking out the three-way match. If you like men's wrestling, I would give it a shot because I thought it was a really good show, top to bottom.
Um. So Mercedes, yeah, her and Mayu, they're gonna wrestle in 2 weeks' time, and we're
Yeah.
very excited about that. And afterwards, I mean, I feel like at this stage, I would bet money that she's gonna be on Summer Sun Princess or something wrestling Miyu Yamashita, but that's just me. Um, that is the Mercedes Money Hour from the show. We do have to get on to normal Stardom. Now they've announced some of the matches for like the Golden Week tour that's happening in like late April, early May. They haven't announced a lot of matches, and what's really interesting is they've announced nothing involving Cosmic Angels. There's no TAM matches. There's no, Waka. There's no Natsupoi on any of these cards. Is really suspicious and really interesting to me, given some of the comments Julia made over the weekend.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah,
it's Stars Away to Down Mondo. This one is nothing.
yeah.
This one
Like
is Club
everybody is
Venus
there.
down to Mondo Stars. Uh, Club Venus will still exist, but
Hmm.
yeah, uh, that's interesting to say the least.
Definitely. There's a really cool match there that they booked for Golden Week. And I'm sure you've seen it on April 29th. It's Mayu and Hazuki against Nanai and Yuna. So that's pretty chill.
That's
Yeah.
clean.
And that's really the only match that stands out as of now. But I just thought the absence of Club Venus from that week as of now is very interesting.
Cosmic Angels.
Or yeah, sorry, Cosmic Angels. So that's something to look out for, and I'll obviously we'll kind of explain why when we're doing the review.
Mhm.
Um, that's the only news. They haven't had a very newsworthy week. I'm pretty sure that's
I
the
feel like
only thing they've
I feel like there was
announced.
something.
They finalized the card for the Yokohama show, but we already knew who the people were going to
Yeah,
be. So
Azumi joins the high speed match. Suzuki joins the Fuwa match, obviously.
yeah, so I think
Is the
that
Fuwa
was
match gonna
everything.
be recorded?
I believe so. Yeah, I feel like they've said it will be.
Cause, or will it be live? I should say, or is it gonna be recorded?
It could be live. Yeah.
Cause yeah, it's like in the middle of the card. So that's why I'm like interested in that. But yeah, Looks like a good card this past weekend. In fact, the only matches I wanted to see from this past weekend are not up, so that kind of sucks. Um,
Yeah. But the first show to review, anyway, was on the 6th of April. This was Stardom in Sendai, in the Sendai pit. They did 344 fans for this one. Um, yeah, we hate the Sendai pit. In the opener, Hanako and Aya Sakura wrestled to a 5-minute time limit draw, because that's the
oh,
thing they're doing.
one piece of news that probably doesn't mean anything considering her harsh exit, but Michiko Miyagi is gone from Glate, so that's something in the Joshi world that could amount to something. But considering that the Stardom departure was kind of not great a few years
Yeah.
ago, I don't imagine she'll be showing up there. Even though I think she's great, and if they had something to do with her, then they definitely can because she's a really good wrestler. But
I mean, she's all right. Miyagi's cool, but she never seems to like work out anywhere. Kind of strange.
yeah, yeah, a little bit. Definitely could be politic related, but
Could be, yeah. But yeah, the opener of this Sendai show, Hanako and Aya
I don't know if you could
Sakura.
tell. I don't want to talk about this show.
I'm well aware. So this, I mean, this was fine. It was 5 minutes. They didn't really do much. Hanako clears Aya, and it went to a 5-minute draw
I
because
thought I
it's
thought
fine.
Aya looked better here than she did against Micah, but the
It's a
match was
low bar.
worse.
It's a very low
Yes,
bar.
because like I think some of Aya's offense looked a bit more understandable here.
Mhm.
I feel like nothing made sense in her match against Micah, anything that she was doing. Um, but yeah, Hanako's not at the level where she can like carry Aya to like an interesting match or even a like decent match.
Yeah.
So that was something. I will say, you said that Sakura's theme song is bad, right? I don't
Mhm.
know if you said it on the show. Um, it's really a shame because it isn't good, but like it starts really funky, and I was like, "Oh, how could Alex think this was bad?" And then 5 seconds later, it just like turns into like
Noise.
chip tune.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, "Oh, Hanuko's theme's good though. I think her theme is
We've
is
got
pretty
some
hard."
banger themes in Stardom now. I'm gonna talk about it later when my girl Jessie is up. But yeah, we've got some cool themes. The match after that was Fukigen Death beating Unimizumori and Tekla. Fukigen rolled up Unimizumori in 6 minutes. This is pretty heavy on shtick. If you like shtick, you'll like this. I'm kind of over the Fukigen Death character a little bit. Like it was
Yeah,
fun for a while, and when crowds got back to cheering, it was kind of fun because they were really into it. And now I'm just kind of done.
like and it's not like I just feel like just do like enough. Like it's not even. I'm not even tired of the death character. I'm just kind of tired of this iteration of it because I'm
Mm,
thinking Gokugen Death only lasted like 4 months, and that was fun. And like it definitely had a bit more time to it, but this has lasted for like what, a year? No, 2 years now,
yeah,
almost 2 years. Like that's not okay.
not at all. Um,
I will say this was some of the biggest pops of the night was the Unimon death bits, which is
like this,
something.
some of the bits were funny, but like I'm just kind of over the Fukigen thing in general. So
Yeah,
I was very much whatever. Um, Match after that then, and this was a point where I hit like the peak of despair. Starlight Kid beat Lady C in 7 minutes, and it's never a match I've wanted to see, quite frankly. And like it was fine, but
yeah. I'll say it could have been way worse.
I could have used
It
the
could have been
7 minutes
way worse.
to watch the NXT Level Up match from last weekend. Like that went crazy. You know, Last Legend was out here
I did hear
doing cool
did hear
shit.
good things.
Yeah, like I could have watched that, and instead I was watching Lady C for 7 minutes. And I like Lady C, but she's very much a nobody on the roster now, so it's kind of hard to care.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. Especially in Sendai, because like
Mm,
I felt like this match, like it what I think what this match showed me is that Lady C is far more competent in singles matches than she used to be. Because nothing about this was like inherently terrible, right? Lady C used to fuck at least one or two things up in singles matches, and it was always very noticeable. That didn't happen in this match. The match was just boring. That's it. Like it was it was perfectly acceptable wrestling that there's no reason to go out of your way to watch. But I will say Lady C, she continues to improve to the point where she is no longer randomly really bad. Because this definitely could have been a match where she could have been really bad, but she wasn't. So
That's fair.
yeah,
The match after that then featured the debut of the newest member of Cosmic Angels. We had Mariah May, Xena, and Jessie teaming up to defeat Koguma, Hanan, and Saida.
Jessie
Jessie,
Elaban, is that
yeah,
her
Jessie
last
is
name?
the former Jessica Elaban from NXT.
The
Um,
Jessie Show. If you know about that, you don't, because that was a coconut loop thing.
yeah, she's a NXT house show legend. I think that's safe to say. Will
Yes,
be in the Hall of
yes,
Fame one day.
100%.
Um, I here's the thing. I like Jessie. I feel like, especially next to Xena, you see how much she has because she's really tall. I think she's got obvious charisma. She's very natural in the ring. Like she's an obvious WWE product because she's able to fill in the blanks, right? Like Xena does the
Mhm.
moves and then goes into resting dead face. Jessie does things between the moves. She's good at like projecting like a star. She reminds me a lot of like early My Sakurai, where you could see
Yeah,
the obvious
you know what?
potential.
That's actually a good one
Yeah.
because the one thing that I couldn't stand about her was she had terrible footwork. That's it. Like it looked like she was about to break her knees every 5 seconds, but otherwise she was good. And like that was pretty much the same issue with my Sakurai is that she just like was consistently in the wrong place. Her like she was just like she would like stumble over herself half the time. Like that was the problem with my Sakurai for a while. So I can see a comparison there because I
Yeah.
definitely see a lot in Jessie. Not as much as you do, but she is a coconut loop legend. Shouts out insiders, maximum male models, also coconut loop legends. Yeah, I was interested. I don't know why they do X's for things anymore. That's one thing that I noticed in this. I was like she's cool, but why don't they just? I feel like it would be beneficial for everybody if they just announced who it was beforehand
Yeah. Yeah, probably.
for in these sorts of situations, right? Because it's like, oh, this is Xena from Australia. She'll be coming to like she'll be doing a tour for Stardom. If they said that on the English count, I'd be like, oh, okay, that's Xena from Australia, and then I'd watch her match with Hina, not going, who is this for the first 5 minutes. Um, Not as big of a problem here because it wasn't live, but I still think that they are doing X's for things that don't need to be X's. Like just announce the wrestler beforehand.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you could have got a certain amount of buzz by announcing Jessie. Like those, these NXT girls get really loyal fans, so
Yeah.
you could have got some people who were genuinely interested in Stardom if you had gone, "Hey, former WWE wrestler Jessie Elaban is going to be there," but instead they didn't. But it is what it is. But yeah, I like Jessie. I kind of see the potential there to be something. She obviously has to work a lot in the ring to kind of catch up with the Stardom roster, but the rest of the stuff that you just can't teach is there. Um,
Mhm.
Finisher is kind of cool. I think I really like the finisher. Um,
I like the setup for it. I think
it's,
the actual move is kind of like, oh, you just kind of drop her.
yeah, I kind of like it.
Like
I don't know.
not even like slam her, just kind of just drop her.
You
Um,
twist her into it. It adds velocity. It's kind of nice. Her entrance theme
Doing
though
cheese
is
class.
is iconic. Her entrance theme is iconic. It is really cool. It's very
It's a
groovy.
good thing.
Yeah. So
This match had some interesting layers to it, I would say.
mm,
I don't think it was like great, but I was interested there. Mariah May and Hanan did some cool stuff, and I was like, that feels like a match I wish we saw in in the Cinderella,
yeah,
right? Like that would have been really fun because I feel like they have, give them 6 minutes of a singles match. That would be a fun match. We talked about this yesterday, but I don't think I realized it quite to what degree it is until this match that Ida is just too good at selling.
yeah,
That it's very bad for her because she made Xena and Jessie look fucking incredible. And I'm just like, you don't need to do that right now. Like, I know you do, but like, you're gonna be losing to foreigners your entire life, homegirl. Like, this is you gotta get them back. You gotta get something back on them, man. And it made me very depressed. But at the same time, she's just too good. She's too good.
she is. Yeah, poor Ida. I did think this was a solid enough match. I didn't think Jessie did a whole lot. Like I thought they very much protected her in that regard. Even though she was like the main focus of the match. I feel like Xena has very quickly slotted in as the power wrestler of her group. Like every group has a power wrestler. goes in there and throws shoulder blocks on house show tags. That is Xena. She is really
Yeah.
strong, and we learned that during the
Crazy
show.
chops.
She lifted 2 people at once. Like, how do you do that?
Yeah.
That is absurd.
And one of
So
them, like it was Koguma and
yeah,
yeah, it was Koguma
yeah.
and Ida, which is like that's the 2 bigger ones. Like
Mhm.
that's the thing. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, so she's a strong one, and I feel like there's a good role for her as the power wrestler in Club Venus, and that seems to be where they're
Yeah.
going to put her. Um, so yeah, Club Venus is coming together. It's an interesting group. We have
I will say the vibes are still really funny
they are. I kind of like it though.
because
The aesthetic is kind of there. I think Jessie fits the aesthetic really well. A lot better than
it's
Zybrooks
very
did. I didn't think,
yes.
in hindsight,
I feel like
he
I
wasn't
feel like
slaying.
Zybrooks I was way too much of like what did I call her? A dweeb, I believe.
I think so, yeah.
Um, perhaps she was just too much of like a brat. Like I feel like that doesn't work. Like this works because they're all kind of just like they're Mean Girls, right? They're the movie Mean Girls,
Mhm.
where it's like comedic how you know what? Nope, not gonna make that joke.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I like them though, but it is funny that like Mina just randomly decides to be like kind of a sassy Paul Heyman randomly.
But it's like the people are so into
It
it.
it works. Yeah,
They're
I mean
so
it
into
works,
it.
but it's just
It's crazy.
it's funny because Cosmic Angels is like meant to be this like babyface group who's like the underdogs, and then Mina's just like sassy Paul Heyman, and that's just crazy.
One last thing on Jessie is that
Hmm,
I get the vibe she's very similar to Mariah May and that she really wants this to work. Like just kind of
yeah,
just looking at it, it's kind of like you get the sense she really wants this to go well and she's going to work hard to get that. And she seems lovely. So, wishing her the best, honestly. So, hoping the best for Jessie. Um, that was that match. I will talk about our next match as well. I got to watch it earlier today. Um,
mm,
the next match then on the show though was the Oedo Tai team of Momo Watanabe, Ruaka, and Natsuko Tora beating Momo Kogo, Hazuki, and Mayu Iwatani. Momo won in 10.5 minutes with the bastard driver or the inhumane driver, whichever you want to call it. Did you watch this? Did you put yourself through this?
I did.
Okay.
Um, it was you didn't, I imagine.
Hmm?
You didn't watch
Did
it?
sadly, yes, I
Oh,
did.
you did.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So Momokogo's birthday, she gets dropped on her fucking head. Um, in a match in which Ruaka did not want to fucking be there.
Yes.
Um, that was like the main aspect of this match. Ruaka, she came out and like Ruaka's always pretty like apathetic towards things, but you could tell on her face she just didn't want to be in the fucking pit that day. She was just kind of like done with everything. She beat up Momokogo while she was singing happy birthday to herself. Um, I think something went wrong with Ruaka's top because she had to finish the match in a t-shirt, which that shit happens, but I also want to say that it's absolutely hilarious given the fact that she already didn't give a fuck. And she somehow found a way to do the bit of Japanese wrestlers when they don't care just wearing a t-shirt during their match. Like it's that's hilarious to me. That even if it was because of some like wardrobe issue, the fact that she found a way to finish the match in a t-shirt is just like, yes, Ruaka, don't give a fuck. This is how I need you to be right now. Um yeah, so it's like pretty mundane, but I thought there was some fun stuff in it a bit.
I don't know. They worked over Momo Kogo for what felt like forever. And then
Yeah,
we
they just tortured the poor girl
They
on her
did.
birthday. Like that's
We
crazy.
got like the most brief, and I mean the most brief Momo Hazuki thing that I was like, ah, here we go, some life, finally. And then it ended, and then Momokoko was back
That
in.
is
So
that is funny to think about because Hazuki has beef with both Natsuko and Momo, and somehow that just never like it's that is like half of the match, half of the members of this match like have this like thing that they can work off of at any time, and they just didn't.
yeah,
Like that's incredible.
yeah, gotta love Stardom trios matches these days. Speaking of trios matches, we had Mai Sakurai, Maika, and Julia wrestling to a 15-minute time limit draw with Natsupoi, Waka, and Tam Nakano. They did a lot of legwork here to build to Mai versus Waka, and I thought they did well. They kind of impressed me to the point that I'm actually interested in their semi-final match now. Um,
That's wild.
and Julia and Tam, tried very hard to be like, hey, we're very violent, and I was like, I know you can do more, and they did do more. But this was a nice little teaser for what Julia versus Tam is going to be. They are ready to kill each other. Um, yeah, they also tried to do Mai and Waka here, and I thought they did pretty well.
uh, one thing that I noticed, so Waka and Mai got into the ring
Mhm.
and did like this really bad standoff where they both kind of just like grabbed each other's hair and looked at each other like real menacingly. And I was about to like tweet about how bad it looked, but then 3 seconds later, Waka just slapped the piss out of her, and I was like, okay, I was forgiven. That's fair. Because like it looked really like lame and really like melodramatic. They held it for like a second. I'm just like, oh brother, and then Waka just fucking bitch slapped her. I was like, you know what? That's on me. I'm you do you, Waka. Yeah, this was the match that was truly the return to Waka getting her ass beat the way that God intended it to be. Julia just fucked her up, and then my
Yeah.
Sakurai also fucked her up, and then Micah briefly fucked her up. Uh, Micah and Poi was all right. Uh, yeah,
They very much
Maya
built
and Waka
around
was
Julia
decent.
and Tam. Like that was the clear
Yeah,
emphasis.
that's the thing is that it's like I feel like the Julia and Tam stuff was the least interesting because it's just I know what I want, right? Like I know what I want from that match. I don't need to be proven. In fact, I feel like the more I watched these previews, the more I'm like expecting more from it, you know? Because I'm just like, you
Yes.
need to do more than what you're doing right now, and you just keep doing it. So it needs to be like noticeably more.
Mhm.
And so I'm like, and this happens occasionally. I think it happened. It happens with a lot of Julia matches because I feel like it happened with Julia Shuri too, where I'm just like, I know what I want out of this match. You don't have to like tease it because it's going to spoil like half of the match. So I would just kind of like zone out during that preview. I think same with Shuri and Utami back in the day. Uh, just a lot of these world title matches, they preview them to death, and sometimes it's cool, but other times I'm just like, you know what? I need to like not pay too much attention because I'm going to be like, this is it when the match actually happens, and they just do like 5% more than what they've already done a million times.
I don't know. I don't feel that with Julia and Tam. It feels like they're trying to crescendo things a little bit. So it's I'm kind of intrigued because especially watching the Aomori interactions, you could see that they're
Oh, I
continuously
didn't get,
like,
I did not get to watch Aomori.
yeah, like they keep escalating it and changing it. So it's
Hmm.
kind of building up to April 23rd. Um, After the match, we did have some interesting stuff. Julia on the microphone said, "I'm gonna beat you so bad that club that you like disband your faction." So she said that post match, and then in her press conference after, she also said, I'm gonna beat you so bad, I'm gonna take everything. You're gonna get rid of Cosmic Angels." So I mean, at this stage, if she said it twice, are they gonna get rid of Club Cosmic Angels? Like, is that the
I
path we're
mean,
going?
Tam keeps inadvertently beating the fuck out of Natsupoi.
That's
like
so funny. That's my favorite thing. Julia and Tammy beating the
like it
shit
just
out of each
keeps
other,
happening.
and while Natsupoi keeps catching strays. It's the poor
Like
girl.
legit, like she like almost like it looked like she got a fucking concussion just from like Julia pushing Tam and her knocking heads with her.
Mm.
Like it was like crazy. I'm just like this girl is already not the smartest person. We cannot be concussing her on accident, okay? That's not what we need to be doing right now. Um yeah, I mean, I've been saying this for a while. I thought Kozan was going to disband. Um, I don't believe that like Club Venus will separate without Cosmic Angels disbanding pretty soon around that. Uh, and I don't think if Kozan continues that Club Venus will separate, but it's possible. I mean, I don't know. A faction has not disbanded in a while. Like I hate to say it, but that's just like
Yeah, and it feels like if any of them was to do it, it would be Cosmic Angels because
yeah,
they serve the least purpose at this stage. Like Unagi gained the most from that, and now she's gone. Mina has her own group, and Natsupoi has Shiori Anu. Like, there's not a lot there beyond Tam and Waka. So I feel like with all of the mentions of stipulation and the way they're building the feud, and now Julia herself saying, "I'm going to beat you so bad, your faction goes away." That faction is not announced for any matches a week after the show. Feels like maybe that'll end up happening. But I don't know. Maybe we're just reading too much into it. But it does seem like they're pointing all fingers towards Cosmic Angels goes away if Tam loses.
I wonder how I'll feel if Cosmic Angels disbands.
I think you'll
'Cause,
be
like, I'm not
happy.
big I'm not co yeah, I'm not a Cosmic Angels guy, but, like, I just am always kind of, like, a little bit like, "Aw, that's sad,"
Mm,
when factions disband, regardless. Unless except for, like, Bullet Club. When Bullet Club disbands, I will literally throw multiple parties,
as we all should.
and just, scream in joy. But, like, with Cosmic Angels, it's just like, I don't know, it'll feel weird, right? Because 'Cause they've become such, like, an integral part of this fucking company
Mm.
since they became a thing, and it's like, it'll be weird if it disbands, but it would make sense, like, Tam can go anywhere. I mean, I don't know if you know this, but Tam has a tendency of, teaming up with her fiercest rivals and betraying her best friends, so, I mean, Tam to DDM, who knows?
I am here for military combat era Tam Nakano. Um,
Honestly, yeah, give me a new version of Tam Nakano before
yeah.
she retires. Like, cause we had Evil Tam, like the Oedo Tai Tam. We had Tsundere Tam for a while in Stars. We have uh Lore Tam, which is Tam now. I want her to like go through one major shift before she hangs it up.
That would be very fun. After all of that, my Sakurai still got on the microphone to do her gimmick. It could not
You're right.
it could not
You're right.
it could not be more obvious that this woman is winning the Cinderella if they tried. She gets
I'm gonna
promo
eat my
time.
cookie, man.
She gets promo time on every single show. They
Oh, hey, that was the news that we didn't talk about.
what?
I don't know if it happened at the Aomori show, but I think my Sakurai called stars like I don't know how extreme she. It sounded like she called them whatever the Japanese equivalent to the R word is,
Oh,
because that's how everybody was reacting.
I see.
But I think she just called them uneducated like dimwits or something.
Right.
Like it. That's the thing with translations is that it's like people got very upset with her about it. So I'm just like, it has to be something like extreme, right?
Mm.
But it also might just be her saying, "Oh, you guys didn't graduate middle school," which is sounds like it was, but there were a lot of people upset about it.
Weird.
Like, there was, like, a decent amount of
I
people
knew
upset
nothing
about it.
about this. This is the first I've heard about it.
Yeah,
Oh, weird.
she tweeted about it.
Oh god.
Like, I don't know. Like, yeah, she tweeted about it, she restricted comments, and I was like, "Oh, okay." Somebody, like, retweeted it and was like, "Oh, she's talking about this," or whatever.
Right, fair enough.
But, yeah,
After all that,
she got in hot water for making fun of someone.
that is fair. The next match then on the show was a Jamaica Retirement Road singles match. Mina Shirakawa beat Jamaica in 10.5 minutes with a glamorous collection Mina. Um, I think it's safe to say these two have never had good chemistry and just never will. Like something about them is just so off when they wrestle each other. And it was kind of the same
I
here.
get that. What hold on, let me see something. Because I feel like their last match was good because it was only, like, 6 minutes at most.
Unless they wrestled in the GP and I forgot about it. But I remember they had a match last year that we were like, okay, this is the point where we want Mina to leave because she's so bad.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that went 10 minutes.
Mm.
Yeah, that was, like, fine. I liked that Himeka just kinda, like, said, "Fuck you, I win,"
Mhm.
because that was fun. But yeah, never mind, I did not like that match.
Um,
Yeah, they're just not very great together. I thought that Mina's vibes here was cool, right? I thought that, like, Cosmic Angels was, like, at full tilt on this one. Mina did the dance alone, which is far better than Mariah May just kinda, like, trying to, get into it, but just not being really into it because she's not a dancer. Um, and then Cosmic Angels came out, or Club Venus came out. They're all wearing Hachimakis, like Mina, and Mariah May did Mina's introduction,
that was
which I thought
great.
was really
Yeah, I love
cool.
that.
Yeah, I thought the vibes here were phenomenal for Club Venus.
Yeah, you could see Club Venus fully forming on this show where you went, okay, I get it now. The aesthetic is there.
Mhm.
And that was the most important part of all this. Um, Mina was very choked up after the match. Obviously, she and Jamaica go way back, so it was pretty emotional for her to wrestle in
And
Jamaica's
Mina
one of her last matches.
Mina did get her ship back on Jamaica because she won with the Angel Twist, which is the move that Jamaica stole to beat her last
That
time.
is quite genius, isn't it? That's great.
Yeah, yeah, I like it.
The main event then of the show was an 8-woman tag match. The God's Eye team of Konami, Amisore, Mirai, and Shuri beat the Queen's Quest team of Miyu Amasaki, Saya Kamatani, Azumi, and Utami Hayashishita. Mirai got the win with the Mira Mare submission in 14 and a half minutes. Um, Somehow, I forgot that I had to watch this, so I never did. You said it
Oh
was great?
man, this was borderline great. Like
Damn.
definitely best match on the card. I wouldn't say like I rated it a strong 7 because I rate things on the Fantano scale. If anybody knows, like
Is
this is
that the
like a
bald
strong 7
sexist
to a.
music, dude?
Is he sexist? I hope he's not
Everybody's
sexist.
always like he gives ridiculously low scores to popular albums by women, so it's like this is a bit weird.
I think he just doesn't like Taylor Swift,
I think it's worse than that.
but I don't
I
know.
don't know.
It's possible that might be on me. That might be on me. But yeah, I do the because it's just a 1 to 10. Okay, that's what I meant. Um, but yeah, I would rate this like a strong 7, light 8 because it was really good. They started off with the cops, which I'm hype. I'm happy with, right? Konami and Azumi, anytime they're in the ring together, I love it. And then from there, it was just like really good. I forgot how many great pairings this had. Because like when you look at it on paper, it's like, oh yeah, it looks like a fun match. But then you forget that like they did Utami Shuri. Utami got the best out of Amisore possible. They did Azumi Shuri. They did Mirai Saya. Uh, they didn't do much Mirai Utami. But then Mirai brought Miyu to do a lot of good stuff as well. It was just a lot of good action. One funny point One funny point was God's Eye got the Queen's Quest top tiers in like submissions at the same time, right?
Mhm.
But they didn't realize that Mirai was about to submit to Miyu because she had her in a fucking knee bar, or a heel hook or whatever. And so Mirai's like screaming for help while everybody's like posing with the submissions on. And they're like, "Oh fuck, we need to help Mirai." It was like a really funny moment overall. And yeah, that was a really fun match. Definitely the best match on the show, in my opinion.
All right, fair enough. I meant to watch it. I think because last night I finished the semi-main, and then I was like, okay, tomorrow
Mm.
I'll watch the rest, and then obviously,
See, same thing happened to
yeah,
me, but I did watch
tomorrow
it
came
as well.
around, and I was like, oh, Aomori is up. I should check out stuff from that, and then I just never thought of this, but that's okay. I just missed out on a good match. Um, the next show to review then it was on April 8th. This was Stardom and Aomori. This was in the Shin Aomori Comprehensive Athletic Park Maeda Arena Subarena. They did 767 fans here, which they labeled a full house, and it did look really full. There was a lot of people here. That did not translate to a good atmosphere, but however, in the opener, Mai Sakurai beat Aya Sakura in 7 minutes with a diving elbow drop.
7 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, this wasn't like the worst from Aya. She definitely is coming, like putting it together, but still was far from good. So that is my only kind of take there. Um, Match then was Jessie and Xena beating Yuna Mizumori and Rocca in 6.5 minutes when Jessie got the win with the Joyride, which is her finisher. They really heavily let Xena just kind of go in there and chop the shit out of Unimon. It was very fun. She was doing all the host stuff, and then Jessie was kind of the closer to the match. And she showed a little bit more than she did in the first match. Definitely, they're still kind of keeping the shackles on, so to speak, with her. At least as of now.
I'm just looking at this. It's very their katakana. It's very strange how similar they are
Yeah.
because Xena and Jessie are completely different. But the katakana for Xena is just Ja, which is I mean I guess Gina makes it doesn't matter. I didn't watch. this show just went up a few hours ago. I was asleep.
It's not even fully up, so it's
Yeah,
I just kind of
exactly.
watched the key stuff. The next match, which I didn't check out, was Mina Shirakawa and Mariah May beating Hanako and Lady C. Mina got the win with the implant DDT in 10 minutes. The match after that, then, which I did watch, was Natsupoi, Waka, and Tam beating Tekla, Micah, and Julia in 8 minutes when Tam pinned Tekla with the Tiger Suplex hold. Um, they, they,
I need to start the Tekla Respect Army.
yeah,
I think that's where we're heading.
they wasted no time in doing Julia Tam. Like, they started the match and were throwing forearms straight away. Like, this was heavily Julia versus Tam, and it was a lot better than what they did in Sendai. In Sendai, it felt a lot like, okay, we have to kill each other, so we're doing stuff. But here, it felt like, okay, we're actually going to kill each other. So I really liked the energy they had here. And that really carried the match through because there wasn't really much else happening. Although Tam and Tekla was a cool final two.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get to watch it. Honestly, if any match I was gonna watch, it's the one that you didn't, because I kind of want to see Mariah May and Mina against Hanako and Lacey. Towers of Power, shout out. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm excited for the match. I just hope that like I don't like being excited for the match. I think that's what I think that's where I'm at, and I think you'll understand if you've listened to how I view Tam Julia. That's like I'm very excited for it, and now I'm like, oh fuck, they're definitely going to disappoint me. But I'm going to trust you that they are building up to something, and this isn't just going to be another Tam Julia match.
I don't think it will be. It really feels like they're going for something here. Um, that's the last match that was uploaded, so I haven't been able to see anything after that. The next match was Konami, Mirai, and Shuri beating Koguma, Hana, and Saida. Konami got the win in that one with the Triangle Lancer in 10.5 minutes. So the Triangle Lancer,
I don't know if you know. I don't know if you know, but that Triangle Lancer, it's got a win percentage of 100 fucking percent right there.
oh yeah, Shaq percent. Like it.
Yak percentile.
The match after that was a Himeka retirement road match. It was Himeka and Ami Sourei wrestling to a 15-minute time limit draw.
Oh my god, no.
And then the main event was Momo Watanabe, Starlight Kid, and Natsuko Tora beating Miyu Amasaki, Saya Kamitani, and Utami Hayashishita when
Wait, why did go on?
Momo Watanabe won with the B driver in 13 minutes.
Does the Widow just not close the show now?
They must not have.
Because it looks like Queen's Quest just won. Like that's how it looks in the in the picture for the main event winner.
Yeah, I think they just posed because there is a picture of Momo with the microphone, so it might have just been a hey, thanks for coming.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
So that was interesting. They let a swear word into the translations, which is really funny. Amasaki, I was told I was a fucking rookie, but I don't feel like a newcomer. It's just like, oh, okay then. So
That's great. I
yeah,
love
they
that.
left that in, which is very funny.
That's her new nickname. Kevin Miyu Amasaki, the fucking rookie.
Hell yeah. Um, that was that show though. The next show to not review because it isn't up yet was Stardom in Yamagata. This is in the Yamagata Big Wing with 372 fans. In the opener, Natsupoi beat Aya Sakura with the Ferial Gift. Cham Nakano beat
You know what?
what?
The reason we call Miyu Amasaki Kevin is because much like Kevin Steen, she swears when she's not supposed to.
I love it. I love it.
There we go.
Um,
There we go. I brought it out. Brought
yeah.
it back. Let's go.
Tam Nakano beat Hanako and Yuna Mizumori in a three-way match in 8 minutes with a violet shooting. Jessie and Waka Tsukiyama beat Momo Kogo and Hanan when Jessie got the win with the Joyride in 6 minutes. So you can see now that she was definitely meant to be in the Cinderella tournament and go to the semi-final because they have had her win every match so far. She's definitely going to be one that they push before she's ready, and we all kind of go, "Oh, that sucks." And then she gets really good when they the push is ending, because that's how this works a lot of
Yeah,
the time.
that's
Um,
always how it works.
the next match was Xena, Mariah May, and Mina Shirakawa beating Miyu Amasaki, Lady C, and Azumi when Mina got the win with the implant DDT. We then had a 15-minute time limit draw between Mai Sakurai, Tekla, and Julia, and the team of Hazuki, Koguma, and Mayu Iwatani. We then had the God's Eye team of Konami, Ami Sourei, and Suri beating Mone Watanabe, Starlight Kid, and Ruaka when Shuri got the win with the White Tiger submission. And in our main event, we had a Jamaica Retirement Road Golden Generation 6-person tag match. Mirai, Maika, and Saya Kamatani beat Saya Ida, Utami Hayashishita, and Himeka, and Maika got the win with the Michinoku driver number 2 in 17 minutes.
I think this match might be one of the most upset that we don't get to talk about,
Yeah,
like, in a long time. Cause man, like, I don't
there's
know.
no way they didn't.
It means a lot to me
Yeah,
personally.
but there's also no way they didn't all slap meat. Like, that is a
Oh,
powerhouse.
yeah.
We're gonna throw lariats kind of match. Like, that seems badass. Except Saya Kamatani, but she'll just do some crazy shit to make up for it.
Yeah, that's just looks like such a crazy match, man. Like, I don't know. I'm really sad Omega's retiring. I feel like it's setting in now, like with that Mina match, because I watched the Mina match this morning. I was just like, man, like, because every match of Himeka's feels like one long. You know how they used to do the gauntlet matches for the retirements?
Mhm.
The past like 2 months of Himeka matches has just felt like that every single show.
Yeah.
Because like usually that's really emotional and that's very like, man, like it's really, everybody's coming out. I think, like usually wrestlers from the past will come out. For Gigetsu, he got Matsumoto, right? Like they were like, like it just feels like really like, but it happens in 45 minutes in the gauntlet matches. This has just been a not like a every week thing, multiple times a weekend, every show, and it's just like, man, it's just sad. It just makes me sad. And the fact that I don't get to talk about the one match that like really means a lot to me sucks. Like these motherfuckers need to start uploading quicker.
Yeah, that was I've been very antisocial over the last little while. Like, I barely tweet or anything nowadays. I believe people were going on and on about Stardom World again. Did I miss that? Is that a thing that
It's
happened? Everybody was like complaining about Stardom World again.
probably.
Yeah,
I mean, like literally every week we could bring it up
yeah.
because there's
But
a valid
see,
reason to bring it up
our
every week.
our complaints are different from other people's because those other people are like
Yes.
they need to overhaul the entire service to suit me and me only because I speak English. And you and I, are like, can we at least get the shows up in a timely manner? Like, that's all we
Yeah.
ask. Like,
No, yeah, that's like because I did mention it. Maybe you just saw my tweet because I think last week I tweeted it's wild that we don't even complain about pre-match promos anymore
that
because
gave me a
like
whole moment. I was like, oh my god. I had to
yeah,
process that.
because and this not saying that it's going short because we still have a preview to go and we're about an hour in, but I feel like I could wax a little bit on it. A couple years ago, the 2019 five-star Grand Prix, Sonny briefly left. The English guy left briefly, and so they just stopped doing pre-match promos, and people fucking rioted. Uh, to the point where I'm pretty sure Twitter got Sonny a way better contract. And like that's how much people were like, "Yo, you can't take away our pre-match promos." Like that's like part of the entire thing, which is true. It was a part of the entire thing. That's how they built characters back in the day was through pre-match promos. Um, and at some point we just stopped complaining about that. And it's
Yeah.
like for me, I'm still upset about that. Like I don't really care. Like people want English commentary. I'm just like I'm good. Them getting Chris Charlton for All Star Grand Queendom is cool, I guess. I like Chris Charlton. Most people don't really, but I appreciate that. But I don't need commentary. I don't need like even the site to be more English accessible. I don't need to be DDT Universe or Wrestle Universe or whatever. I don't need to be like that. You know, customary to English. I just want the shows up quicker. The subtitles to be like there, like the promos to be subtitled, and hopefully one day they do pre-match promos again. That's all I want. The fact that none of those things actually happened kind of pisses me off. But who would have thought I was pissed off about the same thing a year ago? You know what I mean?
Yeah, time is a flat circle with Stardom, my friend. We are you kind of just
Yeah,
have to accept a lot of things, or else you're never gonna enjoy this promotion. uh, it's
yeah.
great
Once
because
the
there are people who hate Stardom, and every time they say something, I'm like, yeah, you're right. I still like it, but you're right. Like, it's
oh,
great.
100%.
It's fun. But anyway, we have two shows to preview. At least I think it's two.
Yeah, it's two.
Yes, two shows. First of which is at Cork and Hall on the 14th of April. So that's this Friday. And the opener is Hina versus Hanako versus Aya Sakura. I expect Hina to win, or if not her, then this is Hanako's first like win over Aya.
They fucked up Aya's render.
Really?
Look at her chin.
Oh yeah,
That's just like she looks like a robot. That's crazy.
yeah. It's very very weird.
Homegirl's the android. Yeah, Hina should just get a clutch one of
Hmm.
them. If she doesn't, then I feel like we might need to talk about Hina possibly retiring soon. Because I feel like Leo Onozaki got like her first win, right? And then she just started losing again, and then she retired. And I was like, okay, like once you start seeing like that definite doubt, like she lost to Hoshino, I think.
Yeah.
I think that was like one of her last matches, and she's like, "Okay, I'm hanging it up." So if Hina ever loses to one of these two, not ever, but if she loses anytime soon to one of these two, we need to start talking about that.
To be fair, Leo also had like her back was in pieces. Yeah,
Severe
like
back
her
problems,
back
yeah.
was fucked. So that's probably a bit more of why.
Shouts out Leo Nozaki. She was born to beat you. I don't know who knows
Hell
about that,
yeah,
but they better,
bin bag aesthetic for the win. Um,
bro.
the
So
next
good.
match on this show is it's kind of an interesting one. Konami versus Waka Tsukiyama.
Yeah.
They're both in big matches the very next day. So unless like Konami gets,
Fuck, this is going to a draw.
I think that would be a stretch even for Waka. I imagine it will be a submission
100%.
submission win for Konami. She just gets the triangle answer.
I mean, yeah, that's how it
Yeah,
should work. But I don't know. Maybe this is like a 10-minute time limit, like they so that
I don't
it's
think so.
easier to get to the draw. But I
Yeah.
doubt it. Yeah.
Um.
Oh, what the
Yeah.
fuck? Oh
The next
no.
match.
Oh no. Not the next match. The match later. I just saw
All
it.
right. The next match is Mirai and Amisore versus Yuna Mizumori and Chairman Ram of
Yeah.
Pro Wrestling 666. Um, that's a match.
That's the devil number. The craziest things pop you, man. That's the best part. It's like I just throw shit out there and sometimes it works. Like that's it.
It's just the sheer simplicity of it. Just that's the devil number.
Yeah. That's the devil number. That's the devil number. There are some angel numbers, that's the
Oh
devil
my
number.
god.
Man, I hope the Kyokos are better now than they used to be because I feel like since they've challenged for the like since they've announced their challenge, I haven't seen them in 2-on-2 matches at all.
Yeah, that's true. I'm pretty sure they were good in the tag league. Were they together in tag league?
They had a decent tag league. Yeah, they
Yeah.
were. They had that good match against 7
Mm.
Up. And they had a couple good matches, but I don't know. They're a bit inconsistent, but I think,
I
I
mean,
hope
this
this
probably
match
won't be
isn't
very good
terrible.
because who is
Well, no.
Mirai?
Well, I think they could have something with Yuna, right?
Mm,
They could have something with
kind
Yuna.
of, maybe. It depends. It depends on which of them gets Yuna. Because
Yeah.
if they put Mirai with Ram Kaichou, I feel like we're in for a tough time.
I feel like that. I feel like that'd be pretty funny though. Like I
I
feel
don't
like Mariah would just break her
I don't
back.
really know. I'm
I
kind
don't
of
know.
I don't do the Ram. I'm not a
Yeah, you're not a big Ram guy. I like Ram.
yeah.
I think Ram's pretty cool,
Like
but
Ram was
uh,
super funny the first time when she was like queen of the world in Ice Ribbon and had big dudes carrying her around to make her tall. But like I know I like throwing ectoplasm.
you say the first time like she hasn't been wrestling for the past like
Well, you know what I
17
mean. Like the
years.
first time I'd have seen her. But her just throwing ectoplasm in people's faces and kind of being okay. Yeah, I'm not really into it. So what can I do? Um,
I still think she's cool.
That's fair. That's okay. The next match then is the Meltier team of Tam Nakano and Natsupoi versus Mai Sakurai and Tekla of Donna Del Mondo. So yeah, Tekla's eating
Uh,
another suplex.
hold on a second. If we're right, what's the next card? If we are right, this will be the last Meltier 2-on-2 match.
Wow. Okay. That'd be crazy.
Yeah. But that's because next week is completely empty until Grand Queendom. So
Interesting.
this could be the last Meltier
Yeah.
match.
Well, maybe we'll have to wait and see. The match after that then is a Stars versus Oedo Tai
This is what I was.
elimination
This is what I was-
tag.
yeah.
I am so sick of these two factions wrestling.
But this time, Alex, this time it's 6-on-6.
Man,
It's not 5-on-5. It's
I'm
6-on-6.
so over it. I'm just
Makes
so
all the
done.
difference.
It's everybody in the factions, like literally everybody. So that's a thing. Stars probably wins because Mayu and Hazuki and everybody else have big matches at the Yokohama show, whereas Oedo Tai are just in some random tag.
Yeah, and it's elimination, so it's not like it'll just fall onto
Yeah,
Momokoko.
and
So. Momokoko gets the win.
Ooh,
She technically
amazing.
first time. It's I was thinking about last night. Momokogo is Waka, but she doesn't get the payoff. That's the fucked thing. like she is getting Waka, but she's never gonna get the
hmm
payoff that Waka's getting. And that's
That's what
crazy.
she gets for being
Poor
old, you know.
poor 38-year-old
Yeah.
woman.
The next match then on the show,
Good translator though.
I cannot believe this is a Korkin match. Utami Hayashishita, Saya Kamatani, Lady C, and Miyu Hamasaki versus Mina Shirakawa, Mariah May, Xena, and Jessie.
I just looked at Club Venus for like 3 seconds and I was like, this is a crazy reality that we're in.
Yeah. I mean, there are worlds in which this could be good because Mina and Saya are going crazy every time they get in there. And if Mariah is with Utami, that could be beast. And if Xena is with Lady C, they might chop the shit out of each other. Those things
Yes.
don't happen. I'm very doubtful of this being great.
I mean, it'll probably just be Saya Mina stuff mostly.
Yeah. Watch them put Jessie with Utami or something. Like it's
Imagine if Jessie just becomes Utami's best opponent. Like just not best
Yeah.
opponent. Like that's a crazy sentence, but like Utami always had a weird thing with foreigners. Like her and Jamie just were way better than they should have been. Her and B were also a bit better than they should have been at that time. Like I don't know. I think Utami could bring good stuff out of foreigners.
I
So
don't
we'll
know.
see.
Her and Viper
I
wasn't
mean,
that good. I remember.
yeah.
And I
But
don't think she did much when she went to Eve that time either. I'm pretty sure she
I
wrestled a
think she
foreigner there.
tagged. Yeah, what the fuck happened there? I don't. Oh, it was
It's
a
a
three-way. It was a
three-way.
three-way.
Yeah.
Her, Jamie, and someone else.
Yeah. I don't know who the third woman was.
Yeah, me neither.
Was it Laura Di Matteo? Maybe?
Might have been.
I don't
Did
know.
you know that Jamie Hayter did commentary during COVID over some of her matches?
Really?
Like some of her older matches. I was going back through Stardom World and uh I went back to the Corkin where she beat Utami for the SWA belt, or she defended it against Utami. I don't know. She beat Utami. And it had two versions of it. I was like, oh, that's cool. And one of them was Jamie's commentary while she was stuck in her home uh, during COVID before they just said fuck off. Um, and I was like, damn, that's cool. And so I watched some of it and I was like, I don't really want to watch this match right now. Like that's not what I was doing.
Yes.
So I stopped, but I was like, oh, that's interesting. They did commentary on a couple of these.
Well, that's kind of
It was
cool.
kind of like the Oz Academy commentary where they just kind of just hang out in the bottom
Oh,
corner.
yeah. The Nico Pro special.
Yeah.
Used to be watching like Ice Ribbon 5-star matches and they'd be eating sweets in the corner. You're like,
Oh no,
could you
that's the
pay
great thing.
attention?
Like with because obviously I've been friends with a lot of video editors. So like I remember on some of Cheese's best videos, there's just like this clipped out girl in the corner just laughing at the move that is in the video.
Mm.
And I just it's always really funny just them just being there. I was always that was one of the things that confused me a lot before I got into Joshi wrestling. I was like, why the fuck are there people in the corner? Like why are they just sitting there watching the match? I was like, that
Yeah.
makes no sense. But
Nico is
a
a very strange place. Yeah.
little bit.
It's kind of dead now. Have you
But
seen it? They've got like nothing on
no,
there. It's like
I don't. I never use Nico much. I
Mm.
always pirated stuff instead of
Yes.
using Nico.
That's fair. Because I looked at it the other day because I was looking for Just Tap Out and there's no Just Tap Out on there, and that was the only place Just Tap Out used to air. And all they had was like Basara and like
Isn't Just Tap Out
Freedoms.
like on Taka's store now or something?
I found that out
Like his
'cause
merch store?
I was trying to find how the hell you watch JTO now, and I went down a rabbit hole and I found their website and the base shop and their YouTube channel with random uploads, and yeah, it was a time.
Damn, yeah, the last Just Tap Out on VK is Takataichi, the last one.
Yeah, it's pretty dreadful. Like I'm a big fan of Tomoka Inaba, but I'm not sure I'm gonna pay like 15 quid to watch her and her sister at Corkin. Um,
Yeah,
I might eventually pay for Tomoka versus Yuri because they're gonna kick the shit out of each other, but
that sounds good, yeah.
yeah, but I
Do you know
don't know.
Taka's only wrestled like 10 times this year? He tweeted about it. He's like, I need to wrestle more or I'm gonna fucking die. like, like just randomly, he's like, I only wrestled like 6 times in the past 2 months. Somebody please help me. And I was like, you run a company, bro.
What an odd man.
Yeah.
Anyway, the next match on the show is a Himeka Retirement Road match, the last
Oh man.
Maihime tag, Maika
Man.
and Himeka versus the reunited Alto Livello Cabaliwan, also known as ALK, also known as Julia and Siri. So these two teams had one of the best tag matches in Stardom history for the tag belts about 2 years ago now. I don't think they're going to run that back just because they're
No.
all saving themselves for Yokohama. But there is obviously potential here for this to be like really great if they live up to that.
Yeah. Man, I'm just sad. Like every time this comes up, I'm just sad because Velke and I talked about this. My Hyume had left so much on the table
Hmm.
just as a tag team, not even as champions, because obviously ALK. I had a vendetta against ALK their entire reign because they cut off my Hyume's reign so quickly. They held it for like 49 days. Um, but just in general, like Mahime only wrestled Aphrodite on purpose once. Um, they did it a second time because COVID took some people out. They never won tag league. They I don't know. Mahime just had so much potential and so much more to do
Hmm.
uh, throughout their tenure. They never got to do, but they did get the tag match with ALK that was really really good. And now we're back years later. Uh, the more things change, the more things stay the same. I'm excited for this match. This is probably the match I'm most excited for this weekend. This one and the match after it that we'll talk about in a second. Uh, yeah, you
Yeah,
might not be able to tell in my voice because I'm just fucking depressed,
that
but
is fair.
yeah,
Do you think Maihime gets the win in any world? No, actually, no. There's not a chance. I imagine
no,
this
it's.
goes to a draw.
I feel like AOK. Did AOK have a finish, like a tag finish? I feel like I just remember it always being somebody
Yeah, I don't think
staying in
so.
and beating them. In fact, it was never Julia. It was always Shuri beating the
Hmm.
opponent. Um, maybe just for good old time's sake, Shuri pins Jamaica again
Yeah,
for the
maybe.
millionth time. I don't know. I feel like if AOK had like a double team finish, they would pin Jamaica with it. Uh, yeah, yeah. I think AOK over Jamaica.
Alrighty. The main event then of the show is a high-speed championship match. It is Azumi defending against Saki Kashima. For a while, it looked like Saki might win, but with the return of May Sarah, it seems like May might be the one to dethrone Azumi, so she will retain here.
Yeah, I think the thing that like made me feel strange because this is still up in the air for me because I feel like Saki has a chance, but Saki's in the Rumble and
Hmm.
Azumi is in the high speed match, so pick your poison type of thing. Um, yeah, it's kind of a shame that Saki doesn't get it because I feel like she doesn't. I feel like Azumi keeps it until May takes it.
Mm.
It's kind of a shame that Saki doesn't get it because I feel like she definitely could use it. Um, but yeah, I think Azumi just retains.
Yeah, that seems like the
Could
pretty
be really
easy
good though.
option. Yeah, could
But
could.
I also wonder because if this does go last, which I honestly think it might not. I think that they might have the My He-Man match go last. But if this does go last, I fear that they're going to try to push it to a longer time than needed because like Saki's best matches are under 5 minutes.
Yeah,
And this is definitely going to get more than 5 minutes, but I just worry they're going to go like 15 to 17. And I'm just like, you don't need to do that.
that is very fair.
Just, yeah. So, I'm excited. I won't be able to watch this unspoiled, obviously, because again, Stardom kind of sucks. Um, but if I was watching this unspoiled, I feel like this would be a really like a match I would anticipate a lot. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like a match
yeah,
that like would like this could be an all timer if I didn't know who won because they both just kind of that's kind of their specialty is you never know when or if they're gonna win. So if this was live, it would be incredible. I don't know why they didn't just put it on the next night. I feel like that would have been way smarter, but I'm not the booker.
yeah.
I'm not the promoter.
I
So,
don't know,
you know.
but oh well. But that is that show. The next show to preview then is a pay-per-view. It is the Cinderella Tournament final in the Yoyogi National Stadium second gymnasium. Um, as of now, and this is a rarity, there's like no sections sold out for this show. Like tickets seem to genuinely be moving terribly, which is absurd. Like this is usually one of their like stronger selling shows of the year. And it currently looks like it's gonna bomb, so that's kind of fun. Um,
Well, you see, my Sakurai and Waka Tsukiyama in the main event might
that
not
is
be the draw
very,
that
very true.
they think
I
it
will
is.
give you that. Now, the opening match of this card is Hanako versus Aya Sakura. This is probably where Hanako gets her win and takes the lead over Sakura in their series.
I'd imagine,
That's how they
maybe.
should go, anyway.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
the next match then is Hazuki, Koguma, and Momokogo versus Mariah May, Xena, and Jessie. It's probably a Club Venus win because they're being kept very strong right now, so they can pin Kogo.
Yeah.
The match after that is Mayu Iwatani, Sai Ida, and Hanan versus Nanai Takahashi, Yu, and Yuna Mizumori.
Mm,
That's a 7-up win for sure.
that's spicy.
It is. Yeah.
It's you said it's who's on the Stars team?
Mayu, Saya, and Hanan.
Yeah, that's spicy.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm back home, so none of my shit translates properly.
Oh,
Uh,
that's yeah.
so I have no idea. I'm just reading kanji right now. Uh, and Stars' kanji is just not decipherable. Yeah, that sounds like a good match. Yeah, I mean, somebody can go over Yuna, but it's unlikely.
Mm,
Uh, I feel like Ida just, she doesn't win anymore. So
that is fair. The next match then is the appropriately named Queen's Quest versus Oedo Tai team tag. It is Queen's Quest versus Oedo Tai, shockingly. Utami Hayashishita, Saya Kamatani, Azumi, Lady C, Hina, and Miyu Amasaki.
oh, it's 'cause it's a 6-on-6.
Yeah. Versus Natsuko Tora, Momo Watanabe,
Jesus.
Starlight Kid, Saki Kashima, Araka, and Rina. Um, so yeah, I don't know who wins. It doesn't really matter. Bombs away. Um,
I feel like that Michael Cole sound bit where he goes, help. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about?
yes.
Like sometimes that's how I feel when I read about the upcoming Oedo time matches.
Yeah. That is honestly the truth. The next match, I think this could main event depending on what happens. It's the Jamaica last DDM match and a Yokohama Arena preliminary battle 2 out of 3 falls match. It's Tam
Mm,
Nakano, Natsupoi, Mina Shirakawa, and Saki versus Julia, Maika, Himeka, and Tekla. So this is probably going to be where, one team wins one of the falls and the other team wins two. This might be where they get the stipulation for 2D versus Tam if they do put Cosmic Angels on the line. This would be the
yeah.
only place to do it because it's the last show before Yokohama. Um,
I imagine DDM like wins and says, "Your group's a joke."
mm,
Whatever.
but
Because I mean, also look at the. I mean, obviously this is just the case for because Waka isn't there, but Tam is a Cosmic Angel, Natsupoi's in Restart,
hmm
Mina's in Club Venus, and Saki's in Colors.
yeah,
So none of these two people are in only Cosmic Angels. Like it's only Tam. So Julia 1% could be like, you guys aren't even fucking in the same group anymore. Basically, you guys should disband. Like that, I could definitely see them doing it here.
yeah, that would make a lot of sense. Then we have Shuri versus Konami in a bit of a tune-up match for Shuri, where she's gonna beat Konami, obviously, to prepare for Chihiro Hashimoto.
I wish this was UWF, man. That would be so fun.
I don't think we actually mentioned this. They gave Chihiro versus Shuri a stipulation. It is
Yeah,
now you can only win by knockout, submission, or referee stoppage. And I find
so
it
it's blood sport.
iconic that Chihiro found a new way to avoid taking a pinfall. Like she said, like they said, "Are you going to do business?" And she said, "I will do some business.
Honestly,
I'm not staring at the
honestly,
lights." And what a queen!
based.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
listen,
say it. I'm gonna say it. Based.
listen. Some people talk about wrestling politics and they're like, "You shouldn't do that." I talk about wrestling politics and I'm like, "You go, girl. You kick
Yes.
ass queen."
Slay queen.
Like Keiji
She
Muto
is slay
made
queening. She is
himself like
gatekeeping.
Keiji Muto had an entire promotion under his boot. What an icon! How amazing do you
Oh
have
yeah.
to be to fuck over an entire promotion worth of talent and keep them under your boot? Like that is insane. So you
Shouts out Hashimoto.
shouts out
The modern day Keiji Muto.
shouts out Muto, shout out Hashimoto. But yeah, that was really funny. I saw that stipulation and I went, "Oh, that's Chihiro saying I'm not staring at the lights, brother." That is so fun. Um, so yeah, Scary is
You know, yeah, I mean, this is off topic. You know what was funny? One of my friends doesn't really watch Joshi at all, but he asked me, he was like, "Hey, for this all together show, do you think Stardom and like TJPW were there?" I was like, "No. No. Not even a little bit. That's a crazy question." He's like, "Oh, okay." I was like, "I'm sorry." I might have gotten a little hostile on that. But yeah, uh my buddy who does not know anything about Joshi's like, "Oh, do you think since Bushiroad owns Stardom and like Noah and TGPW like are under the same company, you think?" I was like, "Not a chance." That's funny you think that though.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
uh,
People who
I just
think
thought I
Stardom and
just thought I'd mention that.
TJPW are gonna work together are so just. I wish I had that naivety. Like there's not a
No,
chance.
bro, I would love that. That would be really wild.
Oh, it would
Like
be
I would find
huge.
that very interesting.
You could have the
But
biggest
it's
Joshi show in
nah.
decades with that, like without doubt. But obviously, it's never gonna happen. Um, After that, then we have the semi-final of the Cinderella Tournament. The first one is
One
Mirai.
more thing about the Shuri
Oh
Konami match.
yes,
I hope even though it's not UWF, I hope Konami comes out in the shooter gear
I don't think she will.
because she should. It's literally her final form.
Mhm.
Um, like that's the best.
Yeah, I
So yeah,
agree.
she should do that.
Um, Match after that anyway is Mirai versus Ami Sourei in the semi-finals. I feel like either of them could win, but it doesn't matter because the winner is not coming from this match.
Alex,
But
draw
you think they do a draw?
100%.
So then Mai versus Waka is a de facto final.
Yes,
Hmm, intriguing. I mean, I would
because
be
like
down for it. Like, I
it
wouldn't
would be
mind.
because Waka, like you said, Waka Mai is the final effectively. You know, what I mean, like
Yeah.
that's some, unless they have Mirai go back to back, which is also a possibility. I was thinking about, and I said this to you yesterday, but I'm gonna give it to the faithful to kind of hear me out. Uh, Saya has been tweeting a lot about like it's really funny because she's the one who injured Mina, but about how traumatic like relearning the Phoenix Splash is.
Mm.
Um, like she said, I cried just going up to the top rope backwards, like that, like or front. Like she was like, I couldn't even do. Like she's been like doing this whole thing, uh, towards her first Phoenix Splash in months. So I'm thinking maybe Mina just loses. Mirai goes back to back, and Mirai over Saya.
Yeah.
I already told you about that, but I know Scott would be down.
Mhm.
If Scott was here, he would be saying I'm a genius. Um, but I'm just leaving y'all with that. It's a possibility. I wouldn't be opposed personally. And hey, even and I've been saying that if Mina does win the belt, she should lose it quick. If Mina gets that triumphant moment over Sai Tani and Mirai ruins it, beats her a month later, based based. So I'm
Okay.
cool with a Mirai victory in this tournament altogether. Back to back, shouts out, get the clap, clap, clap going, all that stuff. 2 times with the dress, first time since Mayu. I'm down with that. But if that's not the case, draw.
Okay. See, I don't see that because Mai has like a built-in rivalry with both Mirai and Amisore, just due to faction alignments. So I think her beating one of them in the final is a much bigger moment for her.
Okay, but let me put it this way. My Sakurai over Mirai might make me scrape my eyes out. So, hear me out. Mirai wins.
Dylan, my Sakurai is
What
winning
do you
this tournament.
what insult do you think my Sakurai throws at Mirai? I think she like talks about like
Her teeth.
her teeth or something. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's so mean. We are the worst people.
Yeah, that's okay.
Oh man.
Yeah,
Oh man, imagine losing a fucking my Sakurai and then her making fun of your teeth, bro.
could never.
Oh man, I would just walk away.
Yeah.
I would go back to TWW. I couldn't do it no more.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I do think Mai beats Mirai in the final.
That
The
feels
thing is,
so
like,
not cool.
Mai Sakurai is such an obvious winner. They did a promo package for Waka versus Mai, so the winner is clearly coming from that match.
Yes.
And
Well,
Mai Sakurai
yes.
is getting promo time on every single show. That is the most Stardom way possible of saying we're gonna push her.
Or wait, maybe I don't know how have, but I keep going back to the fact that the push isn't. Excuse me. She's not. I feel like the reason she has a mid card gimmick is because she's a mid card.
Well, I think she's the number 3 in DDM now. They're moving her into that Jamaica spot where she's credible, but also not too credible. So her winning the tournament and losing up against Mina would make a lot of sense to like elevate her without putting her too high.
But okay, riddle me this, but uh, how about this? Like, is it possible that Waka is such the eternal babyface that because they didn't start the My Sakurai shtick until like the first round, right? Like until this tournament.
Hmm.
So is it possible that they shuffled things around and that's why everything was so fucking weird? Is it possible that they are building my Sakurai as this like evil person for Waka to overcome her and it
Uh,
means something?
I don't know. It's
Instead of just my Sakurai just happening to be the person who betrayed Waka like a year and a half ago, and that's like, is it possible that they just wanted to up the ante of my Sakurai being an asshole to
maybe.
make Waka even more sympathetic?
But then Waka, like as a winner, I feel like Waka is a very odd one because we don't know where she's gonna fall, but I doubt
I,
she
f-
gets into
but I
that
feel
upper
like
card mix. Whereas my
of the
Sakurai,
four, of the four, I think Waka makes the most sense for a Cinderella winner right now.
yes, but like you have to have an aftermath too, and I don't know where they want to go with Waka. I mean, I don't. Do you see her being the number 2 in Club Venus? I don't.
No,
Do you see her being the number
no,
3?
no.
Jessie is there. So I mean, you'd be giving it to somebody who is preferably planted in the middle of the card, which isn't something they really do with Cinderella. Whereas with My Sakurai, you're going to move her into being somewhat credible into that Jamaica spot.
I think I am in denial. I think that's the problem because DDM is in rough shape. I'm gonna be real.
Hmm.
Like, and that's not even me hating on myself. It's just in rough shape, right? Uh, I don't know. I feel like my Sakurai probably will win, but similar to her mentor Julia, I am going to fight it the entire way until it happens. Because when Julia won the Cinderella, I was also like, okay, she can't win the next one, right?
Hmm.
Okay, but she can't win the next one. Please tell me she doesn't win no, she can't be not. Oh, and that's how the show went. Because I watched that unspoiled a few years ago when that happened. So I feel like that's how it's gonna go with my Sakurai. But my preferable, like my top to bottom, is Waka wins is my number one answer. Mirai wins is my number two answer. My Sakurai wins is my number three. Ami is my number four. Like that's the order in which I think it should happen. I want it to happen, and it makes sense to happen. Even though, because I feel like Mai Sakurai doesn't like move up like out of the mid card any more than Waka does
I
to
don't
me
know,
on
because
this.
I feel like she is. I mean, she's got a lot more charisma to her and like projectability, and she can lose up against Mina, and I feel like there's enough of an established
But Waka
feud
can lose
there.
up against Julia.
Right, but
Especially if fucking
uh,
if she breaks up
is
Cosmic Angels, Waka
is
has a lot of fucking heat there.
is Waka versus Julia a world title match though? Like, I don't see them running that out to Ward, which is where
I
Flashing
also
Champion
didn't
is.
see Waka pinning Nanai in a match that she was also against Kyrie in, but here
Yeah,
we are.
but that was a roll up. You know, roll up.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it was a
The
bad
thing,
role.
the thing
No
with
preface.
Waka is she wasn't meant to be in the tournament, so it's hard to buy her as a winner. And if she does win,
And I agree. And people were asking. I don't know if we like clarified it enough. Jessie was in Waka's spot, and then Jessie couldn't make it in time because she's American and visas never work right.
Mhm.
Uh, and so Waka took her spot. But I also noticed that a lot of the Cinderella felt off. A lot of the results felt like slightly
Well, this
weirder.
has been a bad tournament. Like,
Yes,
it's just
but
a
is it
very
possible that some of it came off on the fly?
no,
Like, is it possible
no.
that Jessie was
When
meant
Ro-
to lose to
Rossi
Saki
always
Kashima? No.
always plugs people in. We've seen it historically. When Casey Owens was out of the GP for a teenage Azumi, Azumi got all of Casey Owens wins.
She got 8 she
Yeah,
got 8 points. That was crazy.
like he
Yeah, last
simply
year, my Sakurai got all techless
yeah,
wins.
like he simply plugs people in and does what he was gonna do. So I don't feel like he's gonna change anything, and I doubt Jessie was gonna win. Um, but I mean, maybe she was going to, and Waka's gonna bring back the SWA belt. Like maybe that's how they do it. I don't know, but I would lean towards my Sakurai because they've given her the promo time, and that usually indicates, hey, this person's gonna do something.
But Wakamania, brother.
I know. I'm as sad as you are, but did you?
I'm not even that sad. I'm not like this. I'm not that big
Yeah,
of a Waka
I
fan.
mean,
That's the crazy thing. But I'm just like, I feel like there's more to her currently than there is to my Sakurai, and I was like, do we need to?
yeah, but
Do we need to reward this?
well, you know how they like to do things. Maya's
Yeah.
more of a star, so they put her up and push her a bit. It's that's how they do it. Um,
You know what's funny?
what?
This is a bit off topic, but I was reading back my old blogs from when I was a teenager.
Oh boy.
My first ever blog about Stardom was called Line in the Sand because it came right after WWE Evolution happened, and I was like, you know, WWE Evolution was kind of ass. Stardom's better. Wahaha. That was my
How
I don't
wrong?
know how old I
Like,
was.
how do you just say something so wrong? Evolution rocked.
What? Oh, well, comparative to like WWE. No, I remember what was it? The Tony Storm Io Shirai match got like 7 minutes.
Yeah.
And I was like, "That's crazy," because I had just watched like Io Shirai and Tony Storm have like a good match, and I was like, "That's not what," and so that's why I was throwing shade, you know. But anyway, it was like a playoff of Evolution, and I was reading it, and I at the end I wrote little paragraphs about some of my favorite wrestlers, and one of them was Tam Nakano, and I was like, "Yeah, Tam's really cool. She's one of the most unique wrestlers ever. I think she's really dope. She's cutest in the cosmos, whatever." And I was like, at 30 years old, she's a bit on the older side compared to most of the roster, so it's unlikely she ever gets a major push. How wrong I was.
Well,
Like that's like here we fucking are.
how you could never have predicted that everybody in front of her was gonna leave. Like
Yeah, yeah, no.
we've said it since it happened. If Arisa Hoshiki stays, Cosmic Angels is her group. It's not Cosmic Angels,
Yes.
obviously, but it's Arisa's faction. Like Tam was immediately slid into that spot.
Yeah,
Uh,
100%. But I just found that so funny because like I read that back last night. I was like, holy shit, she's about to main event the biggest Storm show of all time.
yeah. That's true, actually.
uh,
And speaking of Yokohama Arena, it seems to be selling really well. They have
yeah.
14 different sections on sale, and 8 are sold out. So they're moving tickets. Dylan, the Stardom, who can only draw weird old men to the shows,
Mhm.
they've sold out 2 different sections worth of women's only seats and young adult seats. So all these bald old men must be pretending to be young women to buy tickets. Who knew? Who thought it was that easy?
I will forever be I'm going to write a manifesto about El Phantasmo and his consequences.
Honestly, yeah, he ruined it for everybody. Because it was that one comment that made people who have
It
never,
was just that.
who have watched maybe 2 Stardom matches their entire life, go, yeah, actually, he's right. Like it's a weird, creepy environment.
It's just Stardom shows, and that's the fucked up thing. Because at the end of Sakura Genesis, behind the commentary, I told you this.
Yeah.
Behind the commentators, there was this dude who it was the oldest man you've ever seen, having holding a towel, an Azumi support towel, of Azumi in a bikini when she had just turned 18. It was very weird.
Yeah.
So weird that Kevin Kelly decided to lambast the man and make sure everybody noticed it. And I'm just like, why do we keep doing this? I mean, yes, the guy's weird. Like that's a bit
Like
it's a bit sus.
New
But
Japan is a company
oh my god.
where like older women throw towels at young men to wipe their sweat on. Like,
Yeah.
like you cannot throw shade at anybody. Like
You
like
can't act like Yo isn't a twink for a reason.
yes,
Like
Yo and Show did a gay photo book, like a very
this is true.
homosexual, homoerotic photo book. Like your company also sexualizes people. It is a part of wrestling. Kota Ibushi was pushed because he looks like a god, not because
Yeah.
he's a great wrestler, but because he looks like that. That's why Tomohiro Ishii and his lack of a neck were a mid-carder for life. That's how wrestling works. I don't know if anybody has understood this. That's how wrestling works. Um, so, but yeah, like people just are like, "Oh, Stardom is so evil," and I'm like, "You have definitely said in the past that Minami Toyota is the best Joshi wrestler of all time. Do you know what sort of shit she did? Do you?"
That's the funniest thing is that people act, and this we're just going off on a tangent. We're just like spitting hot takes at you, but no, this is like a thing. People act like this is like a new thing, or even like a last 5 years, or pat last even like just a Stardom thing. There, Takako and Noe did softcore for a wrestling company. Like
Like,
that's great. Not like let's be real here. Let's call a spade a spade.
yeah,
This is not a new thing.
not at all. Like when Minami Toyota, of all people, has done photo books, it's like at a certain point you just have to accept that's part of the industry. And you can have your own thoughts on that, but to just be like, "Oh, Stardom is horrible. Stardom is evil."
To isolate it to Stardom
Yeah,
is
like
crazy.
All Japan Women's Pro Wrestling, the thing that a lot of you hail as the greatest women's wrestling of all time, despite the fact none of you have ever watched it, did worse. Did the same, if not worse. Like,
It's funny because we're throwing shade at people who definitely don't listen to
no,
our
but
show.
that's the fun
That's the
part.
beautiful
Like, if
thing.
they listened, they would be educated and not dumb. So it's. Send this to your dumb friends. Tell them next time they start making weird takes about Stardom, you send them this clip. Send them my way. I will tell them what's up. But anyway, it is time to close the show because we recorded for 2 hours and 40 minutes yesterday, and we have been recording for 1 hour and a half today, and I do not want to speak anymore. So it's time to
Wait,
close the show.
what's your like final? You think
Uh,
it's my
Mai
Sakurai
and
over
Mirai.
Mirai? Like
Yeah,
Mirai goes over Ami?
Mai and Mirai, I think. So
I Sticking to it, I think you know what, Mai over Waka. Other side goes to a draw.
fair enough. See, the thing with Mai and Mirai is they had a lot of beef last year. Where I remember
Yes.
when Mai kept like eliminating Mirai, and vice versa in
Yes.
tags. So I think they might play off that.
I'm gonna be real with you. I do not want Mai over Mirai.
But it's fair.
I don't want it today. I don't want it yesterday. I don't want it tomorrow.
Well, it's
Um,
okay because Mirai will be fine. Um, but yeah, that's that show. That is the last show to preview. We will be back next week to discuss we'll be previewing All Star Grand Queendom in Yokohama Arena,
yes,
the
we will.
biggest show in Stardom history, biggest Joshi show since maybe 1994. um, there might be some contenders there like Legacy of Queens, maybe. I don't really know. I didn't enjoy that as much, but we'll be here to talk about that. We might throw an eye towards the Diana show because Saya Ida is on that, and that's on the
Ida
21st.
is on that.
And we will, of course,
She might win.
she might win
I
for
don't know who
once.
she's wrestling,
I think it's
but
Nanami and somebody else, but I can't remember.
oh, then she might win.
Maybe.
That's huge. That's huge.
But we will be back. We will preview All Star Grand Queendom. We will review whatever happened from this week that we can see. But yeah, with that, it is time to close the show.
Indeed.
If you want to stand, you may stand. If you want to sit, you may sit. Believe today, shine tomorrow. You decide what you believe in. Ijo.
Ijo.